finally happened. We got to see the live-action JoJo.
We ripped off that Band-Aid.
So we did a 13-minute review reaction before, and we were pretty unhappy with it. But I have to say, this cut we saw is like the Blu-ray version.
It's better. The start was better.
Definitely a lot better.
The start was better. It was organized like a movie more. I think definitely the first 13 minutes was not the. I mean, it was. It set things up. The movie, this was clearly a director's cut or something, or maybe it's how it was in the theaters.
We're not sure, so don't like write down anything. Like.
Either way, it read better as a movie, and there were even a couple parts where we started to see some Koichi interaction. We started to see some little coy character moments. The settings started to pull everything a little awry,
we're in
though.
like Japan, we're in like Italy. We're obviously in an Italian city.
Yeah.
But like we're unsure whether it's supposed to be Japan or not because we even have like Jotaro speak English to Joseph on the phone. And this is weird thing. And then they finally are just like, no, this is Japan. And then you pointed out this real bad thing in the credits where they're like walking away the same park we're in for every shot where they have this beautiful castle scene.
They bought the rights to like one courtyard, right? Like it's even in the background of this one shot. Beautiful place, by the way.
Yeah, it's
wonderful. Look it up.
Almost too pretty because it it's so like striking.
But there is literally they're having like some sort of medieval fair.
Yeah, there's some like Italian festival happening in the background.
I'm in the Maple, and you're like, oh my god, this explains everything. They didn't even have time to redo that shot, or someone wasn't even looking at the footage.
And it's funny too because they have that same thing where they do the Okuyasu's house is like like in the thing it's just kind of like on a city block and it's a derelict house, and it's like this giant Italian villa.
Oh yeah,
which is really kind of funny because it sets this scene where you have these statues that have like their breasts out, but like to Takeshi Miike, the director's credit, he uses the breasts to draw your eyes in one shot, so that in the other shot you're expecting them to come flying at a character's face. It's good. It
works. Hey, there were
filmmaking.
There were things that work. The costumes were great.
No.
The hair. What? They had the hair.
Not Koichi.
No.
I was.
Yeah, they give him the hair change, but like it's still all bad.
He has a nose. So.
I was so disappointed. It's like literally the first scene, and I'm just like, it's literally like all the way back to like Full Metal Alchemist. I'm like, who the fuck's this guy? And it's like a random Japanese guy, and I'm like, just give him like the white hair, the like no nose type. I mean, in a sense, he kind of like acted as Koichi. It was just kind of like an awkward Koichi.
For sure.
It's just. There's just some things I was like, this is, it just hurt me.
Well, yeah, they built everyone else's wig like out of fucking like foam and steel, but like they couldn't put a white one on him. Come on. Like,
I mean, I will say Josuke's was spot on. That is probably like Josuke and Okuyasu's was like the only ones that was spot on throughout the entire movie. Like even Jotaro's, I'm just like. The whole like hair hat thing, I was like, they just got like some E6000 and kind of like glued it on the hat, and I'm like, all right, we're good. Okay, film time.
Okay. Honestly though, there were a couple things that just quite literally took an arrow and shot it in the neck of this movie.
God.
For me, the big one for me was the deadness of it. Like. I don't understand. Like, he's the filmmaker.
Yeah.
He's the film guy.
Yeah.
The overall problem was just a pacing one. There was no dynamicism from us going from like, oh, we're like serious in this scene, and then like we move to like a comedic moment, or even an action moment, or even a scary moment. Like, it was all just like, I mean, there's literally a scene where like they go to do a fist bump, and it takes, like we'll time it, but it takes so long, and like that's what this whole movie does.
Yeah.
Is it just like meanders on these like kind of slow scenes of like characters doing like one thing, and there's never like a I don't know. Comedy is all pacing, and in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the bizarre really gets sold by the way that it's paced with the action and the drama.
Yeah. Absurdity is juggled with these characters who take things for granted. Like, oh yes, of course, a entire miniature army in front of me. Right, I guess I'll formulate a plan. There are things that are going on here. But what really, I mean, the deadness was also sort of heightened by the camera not going up or going down or moving around.
Like, this movie has this weird thing where like it has these dry spells of like really, really bad, and then we'll get a little momentum, a little bit of gas like in the tank. Like the scene where they have all the soldiers drop down. Like, it's a great scene, and it's like, what's going on? Like, it's so cool when Bad Company drops in. And like there's even like a good 10 minutes like after that like it rolls and the pacing's working and like what's going on is working. But then you hit those dry spells with that fist bump, and man,
they put so much pressure on these poor actors. I mean, and to be fair, I think the performance by all of them, especially Koichi, even though he was only in about a second of the movie, was just not like they put all the weight on them.
Yeah,
these child actors.
They weren't helping them with like the editing timing or like any comedy coming in or even the action scenes, how they transition into them.
Yeah.
I felt like the camera was just dead on them and they were like, I'm gonna go take a smoke break, you do whatever. And these actors are given like, you want me to say this? Like, it's just...
And that's combined with really difficult, visual effects that's going in with the movie that the actors don't know, like, what's going to happen in the end of the movie.
It's a grab bag.
So, like, again, I think it all kind of pinned on the director, which is crazy because, we love Ace Attorney to death.
Yeah.
Like,
it's crazy.
But this just seemed like such a miss. Like, in no way did I enjoy any of the time I spent watching this movie, really. And neither did it enhance my experience with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And that's the really sad part. Like, I mean, I can critique the movie all I want, but if I, like, in any way I was like, oh, that added to my experience with JoJo, that's cool, like, I'd be completely happy, but it didn't.
Yeah.
I feel like the biggest miss for me was the music.
Oh my God.
It's like literally like we know JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with the da 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 da.
Anything.
It was like literally flatline throughout the entire unless it's like a few minutes where it's just like, oh, there's music in the background, but it's like turned to the absolute lowest and I'm just like, am I watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Am I watching a movie?
It's
so
just...
it feels like it's lacking that JoJo style, which I think is another part of it, just like not feeling dynamic.
It just doesn't really make any sense.
Even it's like when we saw the stands, it's like, man, give me like that momentum with the music, but it was just like
having a stand scream anything. They did the Dora Dora and Ora Ora in the actors' voices, kind of, or at least they didn't show the voice. Part of the energy of Star Platinum and of Crazy Diamond that is communicated is how you have this psychic thing breathing and living and pushing, and even Aqua Necklace and some of the other things having their own sort of like personality. That's what made Bad Company the one scene. Yeah. They have all the little soldiers doing their minute things. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, like some of them are like, like fidgeting and like re-aiming.
One pulls out a Bowie knife. Like, it's hilarious. And that's what we need. We need things like that. We don't
things that really take us off guard. But the thing is, when we spend 10 seconds on a fist bump, it's like, okay, I know there's going to be a fist bump.
Yeah.
You're just making me wait for it. This doesn't feel bizarre. This just feels frustrating. Like,
yeah. And then, I mean, I guess the other thing were the choices in the actual plot sort of deviation.
Oh, that was a choice.
Because look, like you were saying, you wanted it to add to the experience, right? I would be okay if this was a JoJo movie for JoJo fans, right? If they didn't explain anything, if it was just name dropping,
egregious fan service,
right?
For sure.
That would have been at least understandable. But they left out parts that would have been easy. I mean, and you were saying, the dad plot, Ogiyasu and fucking trillion dudes freaking dad. Kicho, yeah. That whole thing was weirdly explained in the first place. You didn't even really remember, and it was like connected to Dio somehow or anything. But they didn't even try. And then they're like, I get it. They want to try to set up the next movie, so they did something with Kira at the end, which was really fucking weird. And it's not bizarre, it's strange, it's weird, and it doesn't work because it's like if you have these elements, if you want to just use them.
They never built a base, so every once in a while we got a cinder block kind of thrown in, but like we never built anything.
This movie was a pile.
Yeah.
It was a pile.
I feel like with this movie, it's more like, no, JoJo fans, they already know what happened, but it's like, even still, if you're making an adaptation, you should still kind of like explain it in the movie, not just be like, they already know what's happening.
Especially just since it wasn't working. Like,
it
just didn't work.
It was Pokemon movie syndrome for sure.
Stop it.
Like, if someone,
I
always try to look at it like out of context.
Yeah, like if somebody knew nothing about this movie, they'd be very confused and not have a good time. Us going in knowing everything, we were upset and didn't have a good time.
I was still confused half the time. I'm like, I know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, the part for me when they started punching each other in front of the mansion, I was like, oh boy, that's gotta be when everything goes out the window.
Yeah, a bunch of teenagers are fighting in this Italian.
No, because that's the thing. It's like these psychic kids are fist fighting. I don't. Why? You know,
it's a beautiful movie. We loved it, and
don't see it.
We don't recommend.
No,
you see it.
help buy it on Blu-ray. Support this movie, guys. Support the art.
No,
Absolutely.
And then of course, I mean, ever do we say confirm part 5?
Please, dear
Confirm
God, after this movie,
part
please.
We don't
Five.
need part 2 of part 4 live action. We need part 5.
We need
animated.
part 5. Throw it all in there.
Please.
Finish the anime that David Production is working on right now.
Oh my God.
I don't even care about Rohan anymore, and it hurts me to say that. I just want something else.
I care about
Nani?
Rohan.
that
I
will,
care about Rohan.
I want some real
Same.
meat, you know, and I
But
can
no,
see.
yeah, we need the anime series to come back. I mean, that's the real juice. That's the real flow. That's where they actually put music in. I mean, like that's the thing with
God,
like the
yeah.
sound effects and the music. It's like you know they already made it all like one time for an anime. Like you can't just even like.
Well, did a different company
use
do
it.
this?
I
Do
mean,
they
I'm
not
sure
have
there's
the
licensing
same?
problems,
Yeah.
but like still
Try.
ridiculous.
Yes.
Let us know if you've seen it below, and we'll catch you next time.
眠れないや